Lindsay Clancy, a former labor and delivery nurse from Duxbury, Massachusetts, is charged with murdering her 3 young children, Cora, Dawson, and Callan, in January 2023. Prosecutors allege the killings were deliberate and calculated. Her defense acknowledges that she caused the children's deaths, but argues that she was suffering from postpartum psychosis and was not criminally responsible. The central question is, was this intentional murder or a catastrophic break from reality? Lindsay Clancy has pleaded not guilty and is presumed innocent unless proven guilty.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoeen.
Hi, Commonwealth.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ma'am. Can you please tell the jurors your first and last name?
My name is Lisa Yell, spelled Y-E-L-L-E.
And what do you do for work?
I currently work at a biotech pharmacy company.
Did you work for the Massachusetts State Police Crime Lab at some point?
Yes, I did.
And how long did you work for the crime lab?
For 15 years.
And in January of 2023, what unit were you working with at the crime lab?
The toxicology unit.
Okay. And more specifically, I guess, February of 2023, were you still in that unit?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm just going to draw your attention right to this particular case. We're talking about laboratory number 23-01723. Did you do any batch work on this particular case?
Yes, I did.
And what testing did you do in relation to the samples of this lab number?
It was a test that was known as the general unknown screen.
Can you tell the jury what the general unknown screen does, what it tests for?
Sure, that's a screening test for drugs. It essentially would test for hundreds of different prescription medications or drugs of abuse.
And in this particular test, the general unknown screen, is there a portion of testing in the lab for general unknowns that would allow you to quantify when certain substances are detected?
The general unknown screen is not a quantifiable test. It's just an identification screen. So you wouldn't be able to attribute a specific level of the drug, but just the identification that it was present or not.
So it would be a detected or non-detected situation?
Correct.
And in this particular case, items 10-101 involved a vial of blood that was submitted to the laboratory, correct?
Yes.
And you did the general unknown screen for the blood?
Yes.
And what were the substances that were detected in that sample of blood?
Would I be able to reference?
Sure.
Just to ensure that I'm attributing everything?
Yep.
Any objection? No, of course not. Sure.
I can actually show you 83.
Okay.
Does that refresh your memory as to the substances?
Yes.
Okay. So fair to say it's mirtazapine, lamotrigine,
Trazodone.
And
quetiapine.
And the quetiapine metabolite, correct?
Yes.
And in that particular screen of the blood, all you're able to tell is whether they're detected or not.
Correct.
In your work with testing for those items and running that general unknown screen, were there any issues with the controls in that test?
No, there weren't.
Were there any problems with the equipment in that test?
There was a syringe issue, which means essentially if you consider a needle that has a plunger on the top, it would have essentially gotten stuck at some point within the batch run, which could run for 24 to 48 hours. It's a very lengthy run. So once the error is notified, it's a very simple switch. You just pull the syringe out, place a new one back into that same spot, and then you would restart your run from that point forward, including a control, just to ensure that the instrument is still functioning the way that it should.
And so would that type of error that you observed in the equipment affect the results of the test?
Not in any way.
And in addition to the testing or running this general unknown screen on the blood, you also ran a general unknown screen on urine, which was identified as item 10-201, correct?
That's correct.
And were those same substances detected in the urine?
Yes, they were.
And again, as far as those particular substances in the general unknown screen, or unknown screen test for urine, are you able to quantify it in any way?
No.
Is it fair to say that there are other laboratories across the country that potentially could quantify those substances?
Yes.
And so in this case, are you aware that the there were samples of the blood that were sent to another lab because of those positive tests for those substances?
I am not aware.
Okay. You weren't the reporting analyst in this case, correct?
Correct, I was not.
So after you did those general unknown screens in the blood and the urine, what did you do with the information?
The testing, every independent sample receives its own summary sheet where you document any possible drugs that were detected. All of the sheets are submitted to what's called a batch review, so a secondary person will independently review everything and ensure that they drew the same conclusions that I did. Once both people have agreed, all of the paperwork that is generated is filed within the respective case files, and then that's later submitted to an analyst at random to author the report and review the entirety of the case.
And in this particular case for lab number 23-101723, you're aware that Nicholas Roberts was the reporting analyst, correct?
Correct.
And any decisions on any further testing were likely made through him, in your experience?
Yes, it definitely would not have been part of the role for someone doing a portion of the testing within a case.
And as far as the particular substances that were detected, when you are running these tests, it doesn't tell you that there were several different drugs that were necessarily consumed by the individual, correct?
I don't know if I understand your question.
Well, are there certain substances that come up in these screens that could be attributable to the same type of drug?
There are certain, we would call them parent drugs and metabolites. Once you ingest the medication, your body will begin to metabolize or break that drug down. So there could be metabolites that are related to the parent compound of the medication that was taken.
So where there were five positive or detected substances doesn't mean that there was 5 specific substances, especially where there was a metabolite detected, correct? I guess that.
I'm not sure I follow your question again.
That's okay. As far as these particular items or these particular substances that were detected in these screens, you weren't able to provide any further information for final review other than they were detected.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. Nothing further.
All right, Mr. Rathan.
Basically, as the court knows, we agree to this. We stipulate to all of this. As far as the blood, the chain of custody, the testing, you didn't have any problems with the quality of the testing, right? It was a good test.
It was a good test, correct?
Okay. So, in the results that have been described numerous times, there's the reference to metabolite, and there's 5 drugs. Doesn't mean there's 5 drugs. It could be 1 drug with a metabolite. All a metabolite means is that it's a breakdown of the same drug at some point, right?
Correct.
Like if you're smoking marijuana or something, you have carboxy-9 or whatever they call it. It can be some residue in your blood, right?
Yes, the way that.
From the breakdown.
Yes.
And the lab that counsel was referring to, again, would be is it the NMS lab? You familiar with that? NMS?
I'm familiar that that lab does exist, yes.
Yeah. And what does that mean? Do you know what NMS means? Is it like national something?
I'm not familiar with the acronym.
Okay. All right, thank you. That's all I have. Thanks.
All right, Commonwealth? All right, thank you, man. You sit down. Thank you. Counsel, can I see you at sidebar?